Hi everybody. Today I'm going to make a recipe for fantasy fudge, and it's very simple and it always turns out really good if you just follow the directions. First I'll go over the ingredients. You need 3 cups of sugar, 3/4 a cup of butter, so it's a stick and a half, 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk, and I always use the fat-free milk just because that's what we used growing up, so I'm used to the taste or the consistency of that, but I think you can use it with the regular whole milk too, evaporated milk. A 12-ounce package of chocolate chips, and I always use Nestle chocolate chips. A 7-ounce jar of marshmallow cream, and I've used the Walmart Great Value brand interchangeably, and it turns out just as good. 1 cup of chopped nuts, and I prefer walnuts and fudge. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then you can use a 9 by 13 pan, or this is like a 7 by 11 or maybe an 8 by 11. I'm not sure. But it'll turn out either way. It's just depending on how thick or thin you want the pieces of fudge. So I've already got a batch in my 9 by 13, so I'm fixing to use this a little bit smaller pan. But butter it generously so the fudge doesn't stick. And we're fixing to get started. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the pan on medium heat. And you want to use a thick, well, a flat bottom pan and a big enough pan. This one is 3 quarts because the base of the fudge is going to bubble up and you don't want it to spill over while you're doing this. So make sure you use plenty big enough pan. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put the butter in there. The sugar, 3 cups of sugar. And the 2/3 cup of evaporated milk. And we're just going to constantly stir over medium heat until it comes to a full rolling boil. So it'll take a few minutes. So I'll be back once it gets closer to that stage. Okay, it's just starting to bubble. So you can see what it looks like as it starts. Just make sure you don't ever stop stirring because you don't want the sugar to scorch. So when it's about at this stage, I start my timer for 5 minutes. And you want to constantly stir, and remember it's on medium heat. Yeah, that's a full rolling. So the timer's going. And you want to constantly stir this for 5 minutes while it's doing that, while it's boiling. And if you've got a candy thermometer, you want to stir it until it reaches 234 degrees is what I've found. Turns out the best for me. My candy thermometer's broke right now, so I'm just going to kind of have to go by experience, but 5 minutes is usually really accurate. If you let it go too long, the fudge will sugar kind of crystallize. If you don't go long enough, it's soft and doesn't set up good, but you can put it in the fridge. I'd rather it be soft than crystallized. But if you've got a candy thermometer, that 234 is really good. Usually make it perfect every time. Once you make this enough too, you kind of know how the mixture bubbles up and foams and then kind of goes back down and gets glossy. So you kind of get a feel for when it's ready. Oop, that was a mistake. And don't ever touch this stuff. The mixture is really, it'll burn you. Ow. And I just burned myself. Be careful that you don't let it spatter on you while it's cooking. Oh man, I need a piece of ice. Because that syrup is thick and it will stick on your skin, and it just... So make sure your kids aren't around or in the kitchen while you're doing this. Or pets. So see, it's kind of foaming up. Oh, I've got ice on the berm. And you want to have your other stuff ready to go, because once the 5 minutes is up, you're going to take this off the heat and stir in the chocolate chips immediately to melt them. And then the last thing you do is stir in the marshmallow cream, nuts, and vanilla. And beat it till it's good and mixed thoroughly. And then you pour it right away into that greased pan. And you don't have time to mess around because it sets up fast. It'll start setting. Be sure and scrape in the corners of the pan constantly too. Don't miss any spot. And I would use only wooden spoons with this, because the metal will get hot. You'll melt the plastic. We've got about 1 minute and 10 seconds left. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, we're almost, our timer's fixing to go off. So you can kind of see what it looks like. I'm going to move y'all because I'm going to take the pan off the heat here in a second. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now first thing we're going to do is dump in all of the chocolate chips. And you want to stir quickly, but don't splatter yourself and burn yourself like me. And wait, and you stir until all the chocolate chips are melted. You want it to be smooth. Oh, I can already tell this is kind of thick. You're going to have to use some muscle. But they melt fast because that mixture's so hot. So it's a little rough looking right now, but the marshmallow cream is going to smooth it out here in a second. Okay. All my chocolate chips are melted. This is not the easiest thing to do, is getting marshmallow cream out of these plastic jars. I try to use a spatula if I've got... The Walmart Great Value brand marshmallow cream jars are shaped straight edged, so they're easier to scrape out with a spatula. Okay, and then I pour in my vanilla and my nuts all at the same time. goodness. This is a workout. And as soon as you have everything mixed together, you want to be ready to pour it out. So let me get that pan. And it's heavy. I think the recipe makes 3 pounds. Man, my hand is... You want to try to do this a little bit smoother than I did. I think my hand is a little weak because I already did one batch. And see, it just almost immediately wants to set up. Usually I can get it a little bit, poured out a little bit easier. Anyway, so that is set. I mean, that's going to set now. And I put it on a cooling rack. And this is a batch I did earlier, and it's already set up. And I'm going to taste test it. Let me get a little knife. Oh yeah. Okay. It's good. But I think I let my temperature get a little hot. It's a little crystallized. So next time I need to know not to let it go so long. I probably need to get my candy thermometer. But anyway, it's really good. Everybody loves it. And I cut it into tiny pieces to give away on cookie trays and as individual gifts and stuff like that. I'll put the recipe down below. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time. Bye.